Hello, Booktube, and welcome back. Well, I am done for my reading today, for the whole year, not just for today. I usually take, the last few days of the year off just to completely just chill out and relax. So, with that, let's look at my wrap up of the year. What does it actually look like? This is, I'm not going to be talking about any books in specific here, so they're just looking at my reading tastes and what I've read, genre wise, and non-fiction, fiction, all that kind of stuff over the course of 2025. And I'll be doing this by using Storygraph. Storygraph is it's a Goodreads. Look, it's pretty much a Goodreads. It's a library of what you've read. I think it's a lot better than Goodreads. I'm not doing a commercial for Storygraph here. Pay me. But it's pretty much a catalogue of what you've read, and I like the recommendations a lot better on Storygraph. The winners as well. I like the challenges that they can set you to read. And you got a handy tab of your Storygraph stats. I'm quite a numbers nerd. So this is what we're going to be looking at to look at what I've been reading. Storygraph, my stats for 2025. Let's go. I've not looked at this yet, so in 2025, I have read 166 books, which is equivalent page-wise is about 80,000 pages. And it's a bit the same for me. I usually read about 160 books, well, between 150 and 160 books. That's my go-to. I think last year I read 180 or something like that, but I went a bit nuts last year. But I roughly read about 150 pages, 150 books every year. Now the first stat that Storygraph presents you is what they call moods, and take all this, especially moods and all this, with a pinch of salt. This is user added. Okay, this is not coming from them. This is what people have actually put down or when they're typing in what they've read. So what do I mean by moods? Well, let's pop it up now. So, is the book adventurous, informative, reflective, emotional, dark, challenging, tense, mysterious, funny, sad, inspiring, hopeful, or light-hearted? I think in total there's 14 moods. And as you can see in this chart here, which I'm going to cut and paste somehow, I've only done 13. I only managed to do 13 every year. The last one I know is relaxing. How can I not? Reading is relaxing. How? It's so weird. Yeah, so the last one is relaxing. I've not been able to pick that up. I don't care. I'm acting up. But according to this, so let's take the top 5. So I am a adventurous kind of reader, informative. Obviously, I read a lot of non-fiction. That's where that's coming from, and reflective as well. A lot of non-fiction are reflective on past events, aren't they? So, but if you say to me, Alex, do you read a lot of emotional books? I'll be like, no. But apparently I do, because it's my 4th. Hang on. So I'm hovering over the bars on this, and I've read 31 emotional books. So if I click into this, please don't crash. And just to pick top 3 here, don't really understand the third one, which is A Man on the Moon. I said I was going to talk about specific books, and here I am. I've already not done it. Man on the Moon is about the Apollo mission, so maybe one of the astronauts died. That's emotional. A country doctor story. Okay, yeah, non-fiction. It's about a country doctor. Okay, that can be emotional. And a sci-fi book, Flowers for Algernon, which is an emotional sci-fi. So I guess it rings true, right? So out of them, and then forget the rest of them. So I'm definitely an adventurous and informative reader. Okie dokie. The next one they provide you. Again, remember, this is all user inputted. So what this actually means in real life, who knows? But the next one is the pace of the book. And as you can see, I'm pretty much a medium-paced person. What does that even mean? Smallest percentage. I think this equates to the exact same as the next one, which is page number. If it's a long book, I reckon they'll classify it as a slow-paced book. I don't know. That's me just like riffing off the top of my head. But as you see, fast-paced books are really not my jam. My jam is more medium and a good chunk of slow books, which I reckon is the bigger books. So it's a third. Let's I'm not looked at the next one, which is page number. So a third of my pacing is slow. See if that corresponds to the next one. There we go. So page number, roughly a third are the larger books. So yes, it kind of lines up with page number, this pacing. So it's a bit of an erroneous stat. Who cares about it, right? So yeah, it's pretty much the same as pacing. The majority are between 300 to 500 pages, which are the medium paced, and then under 300 pages, the smaller books are a faster pace because it's small, and then a good chunk of the over 500 pages. Quick question to everyone: what would you classify as a big book? Page number, I would probably, would I say over 500 pages is a big book? Do you know what? I might, that or 600, it's quite close, I'd throw maybe 700. Oh, I've got mad, 800. Yeah, I think that's pretty much spot on a 500-page book. But I understand if people, especially if you're not a big book reader, you'll say 3 to 400. But I think they nailed that out. I think that 500-page plus is probably a larger book. Okie dokie. So the next stat that they present is the ratio between your non-fiction and your fiction reading throughout the year. I always say I'm a non-fiction reader, but according to this, it's pretty even. Non-fiction has just edged it out compared to fiction. So I think a lot, because I do a lot of rereads every year, and I don't typically reread non-fiction. So a lot of that 49% will be, will be the Count of Monte Cristo, it will be the Lord of the Rings, Middle Earth, whatever it will be, stuff I like from, fiction-wise. And a lot of classics. I read a lot of classics. So the next one are the genres, and I'm not 100% sure how I'm going to show this, because they just list the genres that up to infinity that it looks like here right now. So I'll probably talk about the top 10, but let's try and highlight some of the weird ones. Okay, I read a book about video games. Have I? I don't remember that. Oh, it doesn't give me the option of. Oh, it does give me the option. It doesn't give me the option. Stop being difficult. How do I? Oh, okay. Yeah, because I read that such a long time ago, I completely forgot about it. Blood, Sweat and Tears. It's a look at the gaming industry, specific games in the industry and how it was developed. Really good book. Pick another one before we talk about the top 10. I've read an art book. I've only read one art book. Again, it's doing that weird thing to me. Oh, Just Kids by Patti Smith. She talks a lot about art and artistry. Yeah, I guess that's an art book. It's more of a biography for me, that autobiography. So the top 10, I'm going to have to Control plus this, Control plus. Here we go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So just missing out is Politics at 11. Let me just make sure I've got this right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So the 10th genre that I have read not talking about any specific books. I'm not going to click on the link because it takes ages to go back again. Is nature. I do read a lot of nature books. I do enjoy it. You know, I think the books like Cages for Hawk, which is okay. I do like a lot of books about natural history. I do really enjoy them books. And number 9 is kind of the same vein. This is science. I do read a lot of science books, which I read 10 of this year. So that doesn't really think that to me. That doesn't really think of a really a big. Well, looking at 1 and 2, they're by far ridiculous. So 10 books out of 166, whatever the math works out there. So what is that? 8%? Probably not even 8%, is it? So yeah, number 9 is science. And then jumping to 12 books to that word I can never bloody say, literary. I've said it once now, and I'm going to call it lit from now on. So 12 books in the lit genre. I think that's more to do with because I buddy read books with my brother, and he's more of that kind of genre than I am. I'm contemporary as well. So I reckon a lot of those books in that genre is a buddy read that I've read with my brother. So 10, 9, 8. Number 7, I understand a lot, is memoir. I do love memoir. Memoirs are really good. I'm also talking about number 6, because number 6, which I've read 21 of, is biography. So memoirs and biography for me are, I will read a biography or a memoir of someone I haven't got a Scooby-Doo of who they are. And as long as it's written well, I'll enjoy it. I don't care who it is. If it's a well-written biography or memoir, I'll pick it up and read it. I really do enjoy the memoir and biographies. Okay, so we're going into the top 5, and the 5th one is what I spoke about before, is classics. I absolutely love reading classics. I usually read most of my classics in January, as I get gifted a lot of, how many books? Oh, I've read 22 classics this year. So I do get a lot of cloth-bound classics as presents for my birthday and Christmas, and I kind of wait till January to read them all. So that's where a good chunk of that is from. And obviously, I think from the top of my head, The Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, all that Middle Earth stuff is actually classified as classic as well. So that gets dumped on there as well. Okay, 4th is science fiction. I love me some science fiction, but I think a lot of my disappointments has been in the science fiction genre this year. I tried my hard to find a Star Wars book that I actually like. There's been some all right ones, but there's been a lot of just trashy kind of books, badly written books. Which goes to the 3rd one, which is quite surprising, to be honest with you. But now that I'm thinking about it, I read 22 historical fiction books this year. So there's a lot of the Sharp series that I've read. I get a couple of the my buddy reads and my brother. He's chose quite a few historical fictions. So I do love, and I like Connor Gilden too. I love the Roman ones he did, the Genghis Khan ones he did, the Greek ones he did. I do really like Connor Gilden's work. That's all historical fiction based. I really enjoy it. I do like historical fiction. And then the top 2. The second one, which I think is the first time ever that it's second and not first, and this is fantasy. 34 books this year. Again, a lot of it is the rereading of stuff that I loved from the past. That will be I think the majority of that 34. I've read some of the new fantasy books, because I remember when I was a proper fantasy reader, Dad in the Blue fantasy reader, I was getting more and more disappointed of the newer releases. And I guess I was more jaded. I needed something new as well. But I've actually read some of the newer fantasy releases, what I've actually kind of enjoyed this year. So that's why I think it's slightly high, but it's nowhere near the size as the next one. And I've read, and this is by far my favourite genre. And for those of you who have watched this channel, you're probably okay, yeah. Wonder what it is. Wonder what number one is. Ooh, it's non-fiction. Oh, history. I absolutely love my history, and 47 books this year was all about history, which is trying to do them. Oh no, about 30%, whatever. I'm trying to do the maths on top of my head. Subtract 2, carry the 4. So 47 history books, which makes perfect sense to me. I absolutely love history. I love military history probably more than any kind of other kind of history, but I'll read practically anything to do with history. So they're my top genres that I've read this year. What's next? Most read authors. Again, this will show my rereading in all its glowing. I don't know where I was going there. Let's take a side turn. So it shows, I think 10. So I think this flags up if you've read more than one book of a certain author. So if you've read 2, it'll come up here. So Mark Lawrence is number 10, who is a fantasy sci-fi author. I think I read his science fiction novels this year, so it's like The Spell. I'm blanking on the others as well, but I thought they were all right. They're time travel books. I thought they were okay. I prefer his fantasy. He's a proper grim, dark fantasy author, and it's okay. The trilogy was all right. Number 9 is Bernard Cornwell. I've started the Sharp series, so this is still on 3 books. Okay, yeah. So as I think I've mentioned before in one of my earlier videos, I've started the Sharp series, and the first 3 books I've read are all about the India campaign. I'm enjoying it. William Horwood is a fantasy author, and he did. I think that's again. It is rereads. I don't know why I reread this trilogy. I think it reminds me of being a kid. It's called the Duncan Chronicles. It's anthropomorphic animals. It's about moles. I really enjoy, but it's not like kiddish. It's not kiddish at all. It's more hardcore than Watership Down people. Really well written. Not much magic in this. It's just moles being moles, right? And then trying to find a better life and restore harmony in nature. That's what the Duncan Chronicles and Duncan Quest and Duncan Found are about. I'll probably talk about next year when I reread them in February or whatever it is. Next one is James Luceno. Again, folks, we're still on 3. James Luceno is, I'm not sure of other works that he's done, but these will be Star Wars books. And as I said, I might as well talk about the next one as well above him, Greg Key's Star Wars book. I've not found that many good Star Wars books this year, so take that as I say good. I think it's been met to bad. So yeah. Jumping up to 4 books, so this has been my 5th most read author, is Connor Gilden. I mentioned him before. He's an historical fiction writer. Really enjoy his books. I think that might be his Athenian series off the top of my head, I think. The 4th most read author, love him to death, Bill Bryson. I've read 5 books, it'll be 5 rereads for me this year. Bill Bryson is the author that got me reading non-fiction, so hats off to him. I love reading non-fiction now, and Bill Bryson was the entryway to get into non-fiction for me. 3rd most read author is Richard Osman. Again, 5 books. Richard Osman has wrote 5 mystery books. I think it's the Thursday Murder Club. It's like a bunch of OAPs solving murders and all sorts of hijinks. I really really enjoy it. It's kind of like an updated Agatha Christie novel. I think they're really quite enjoyable and quite funny and quirky. So if you're interested in a kind of like, I'll talk about them. I'm gonna, after this video, I'm gonna, not right after it, but I'll do it tomorrow or the next day or whatever. Do top tens, you know, of the worst, the best non-fiction and the best fiction. I'll probably talk about Richard Osman then. Okay, yeah. My second most read author, I've read 7 of his novels. I think one of them was a reread, and this is James Clavell. He did the Asia saga. I think the first one is, I know, it's called Shogun. Everybody knows about Shogun now because of the Disney TV series. But he's done a whole range of books. They don't follow on with each other. Some characters are mentioned now, but they are standalone historical fiction. And the big old volumes of historical fiction as well. That's probably the only downside of his works. And I think the last historical one he wrote was just an abridged version of the previous one. I was like, oh, I wish I knew now. And number 1 doesn't surprise me at all. 10 books. This is Tolkien. I'll probably read more Tolkien next year. I didn't reread the history of Middle Earth. I probably will next year. So that is rereading The Lord of the Rings. It's The Hobbit, The Silmarillion, and other stuff that his son, Christopher Tolkien, edited and published. I do love Middle Earth, and he's my most read author. Okie dokie, what is next? Languages. All books in this time period are in English. Well, considering English is the only language I can speak, that's understandable. Okie dokie, and now I think there's only 2 left now, folks. So this is the number of books and pages over the months that you can see it. You know what's happening here. As you say, I'm quite steady on what I read. I think that the most is in January, obviously, because I'm reading the presents, the gifts, the classics. I kind of like to try and make January a little bit more happy, you know, a bit less depressed. I kind of hammer the books, you know, and then it's fairly kind of steady over the course of the year. A bit of a bump up in September and October when I'm reading the Bailey Gift. But other than that, I'm pretty steady, and yeah, there's no surprises. I don't think any month has dipped below 10 books. So it's between 11 and 19 books every month. And then, you know, highs and lows, page count on whether it's January or whether I'm reading the Bailey Gifford. And lastly, this is my star rating. I don't like that. I do star ratings. I know I'm a hypocrite, but I usually don't really like star ratings on things like Goodreads because I could never trust them, right? But I can trust my own. And as you can see, I think every year it hovers around averagely like 3.7 to 3.8, something like that. I mark a lot of them 4 out of 5 because a lot of it is non-fiction. I appreciate a lot of the work that's gone on into the book, and I consider it good. A lot of the dross in the lowers between 1.25. What I do there is I'll look at, okay, what did they say is 1.5? Okay, yeah, this book's where, so I'm going to have to put it as 1.25 or 1. That's how I do that kind of stuff. But a lot of that dross will be, you know, the Star Wars books that I read, and some of the experimental fiction that I read. Don't like experimental fiction. And then probably a majority of the 4 and 4.25 or above. Again, I'll work the same out. Okay, yeah, I've marked this as 4.25, but enjoyed this book more, so 4.5. That's how I do it. And a majority of them will be non-fiction books. And that is it, folks. And that has been my reading year. I will soon come out with what I consider the worst books that I read, the top fiction and top 10 fiction, top 10 non-fiction books before the end of the year, where I'm going to relax for the new year eve. And I will talk to you soon. Bye, Booktube.